Uchimura was just an ordinary office drifter, burying his face in work every dawn, yet life never lived up to his dreams. Fate, that cruel twist of destiny, struck again as he was hit by a reckless driver and logged out forever. But the tale doesn't end there. He thought death was final, only to find his misfortune dragged him into the clutches of the Dark Lord. Summoned to another world to work once more just minutes before, a crucial meeting unfolded among the four mightiest of the demon clan. The Dark Lord sought to solidify his power by finding a worthy candidate for the four heavenly kings. Let me introduce the others: the fierce flame war god Amand, the earth guardian Genome, and the storm mage Xfit. The missing piece for their unified might was Uchimura, the human from another realm. From now on, he'd become the vessel for the fourth heavenly king, ruling the element of water with the title Sea Envoy. What a twist for this guy, just stabbed and now forced to serve the demon army. Reflecting back, since graduation, Uchimura never stopped working, facing the relentless pressure of a competitive society. He dreamed of a perfect job, but colleagues climbed the ladder while he stayed stuck, his honest and diligent nature making him an easy target in that cutthroat company. Then came the sudden transfer notice to another country, or else get out. So, Uchimura bid farewell to his loved ones and headed to what felt like a graveyard for the forgotten. On his first day, he felt the harsh reality as the place lacked development, resources were scarce, and he dove straight into the grind. Begging the parent company for more staff and equipment went nowhere. To boost efficiency, he knelt, pleading for cooperation and following his lead. Facing hardships, he never gave up pushing forward, and his unyielding spirit won everyone's admiration. Just when things seemed on track, the director shipped him off elsewhere, a bitter blow. This broke even his resilient heart, leaving him questioning why he toiled so hard when no one noticed. That's when he was struck down and pulled into this new world. The Dark Lord had waited for this day, almost as if he'd cursed Uchimura to die early and serve. He assigned him as the fourth heavenly king, a role Uchimura never imagined. From a lowly employee to being valued, it felt unfamiliar, but the Dark Lord presented a forbidden tome chronicling his overseas struggles. In those 5 years abroad, Uchimura self-taught languages and uplifted the locals, leading them to a better life. With such a record, the Dark Lord knew he was perfect for the four great heavenly kings' position. Uchimura humbly said, "I'm flattered, but leading a demon army is beyond me. I'm just an ordinary human." Seeing only chaos ahead, he refused. But the Dark Lord promised rewards matching his old boss's status, with troops at his command and a private room, no more roughing it. No pressure, the Dark Lord valued talent, so if Uchimura declined, he'd return home. Tempted, Uchimura almost agreed, but then recalled the cutthroat world back there, where he was exploited and unappreciated. He realized going back meant more of the same, overlooked and underpaid. Smiling wryly, he admitted, "I'm just a nobody. I can't meet their expectations." The Dark Lord interjected, "Don't listen to those fools' gossip. I've watched you. True worth shines in the long run, and you're that kind of person. You're the key to a prosperous demon clan. Join me, and I'll unlock your full potential. Fate isn't decided by others." The Dark Lord ignited Uchimura's passion, asking if he craved the peak of success. Before he could answer, Amand objected, calling him too weak for their ranks. The others agreed, so the Dark Lord proposed a challenge to prove Uchimura's worth. Amand charged in, assuming his otherworldly powers, terrifying Uchimura. Thankfully, the Dark Lord intervened, saving him from a second logout. When Amand questioned why, he explained Uchimura had fainted from fear. "What kind of test is that?" Amand's hot-tempered nature clouded her judgment, but Uchimura had no powers at all, baffling Genome and Xfit. Bringing a human into the demon ranks amid internal conflicts could spell disaster. This discord was why the Dark Lord summoned him. Uchimura's problem-solving skills would unite the demons. Awakening, Uchimura joked about barely surviving the kick, but the Dark Lord valued his mind, not muscle. A test awaited to tackle the demons' internal issues, especially with territories merging and conflicts brewing. They'd need to negotiate with tribal leaders, starting with the unstable Minoto village. Amand, in charge, would guide him. Despite his nerves as a mere employee, Uchimura drew strength from the Dark Lord's faith and stepped forward. Facing the massive Minoto room, pressure mounted. Amand warned of their aggression and smirked, hoping he'd falter. Inside, a huge Minotaur loomed. How to negotiate with that? Uchimura imagined disaster, but Amand demonstrated first, only to clash with Talos. Their argument showed the demons' crude diplomacy, leaving Uchimura stunned. Outside, they heard the chaos. Amand explained the Minotaur were eager to merge at first, but something changed. Uchimura sighed at her poor skills, realizing the key was understanding their needs. Amand passed the buck to him if he failed. Dismissal or worse awaited. Used to such pressures, Uchimura brainstormed, fearing ridicule if he messed up. Recalling a similar corporate fiasco, where partners backed out despite interest, He knew persistence was key. Amand reported to the Dark Lord, doubting him, but the Lord waited eagerly. And so, it's time to start devising a plan. Suddenly, he pictures the scene. If he fails, she'll face mockery from the three heavenly kings and deeply disappoint the Demon King. His thoughts drift back to his old company days, when Uchimura encountered a similar ordeal. Even though the partners were interested, they kept rejecting it, leaving him utterly confused and bewildered. Unexpected twists only arise when both sides keep talking. On the other side, Amand has already informed the Demon King about the earlier incident, convinced that Uchimura won't accomplish anything significant. Yet, the Demon King eagerly anticipates his performance. Moments later, his friend notices Uchimura deep in thought and asks if he's planning a serious conversation with Mr. Talos. Talos? His friend urges him to give up, arguing that with Talos's attitude, there's no way he'll agree. But in Uchimura's dictionary, there's no word for surrender. Besides, it's still too early to conclude. In negotiations, it's not about appearances but about steadfast persistence to truly understand the other side and build a noble trust between them. She should just watch and see. Observe me, because this negotiation will surely go smoothly. With that insight, Amand realizes this guy isn't as fearful as when he first arrived. The next morning she comes looking and finds the room in complete chaos. She imagines Uchimura failed the talks and clashed with Mr. Talos, turning the place into a battlefield. But in reality, it's not like that at all, my friend. With his bracelet of power, Uchimura gained freedom and recognition, feeling true happiness for the first time. Amand showed affection in her way, and together, they'd build a stronger demon clan. They know of his 100 victories in battle. They approach the two leaders, shaking hands to clarify the initial incident. Manda thought the bull had refused the compromise, but it wasn't Swamira's the earlier story he faced, a clash of perceptions. In truth, Talos always wanted to cooperate. He just needed to hear the benefits clearly. Besides, if they sleep on the ground for long, they need straw for comfort. That's the Minotaur clan's courtesy, ensuring their bodies rest easy rather than on cold, bare earth. Yet, she took their straw as some treasure, always getting scolded like a dog. No wonder Amand realizes her mistake, completely misunderstanding the other side's intentions. In return, Talos feels the same, so they shake hands and make peace once everything's explained. Both sides laugh it off normally afterward. It's all thanks to Uchimura, so the old friend expresses his gratitude, staying cheerful and hoping for his help from now on. That's the basic courtesy in dealings. The Demon King then approaches and asks the girl, has the dragon truly grasped Main's importance yet? Uchimura's special ability is solving tough problems that the Demon Clan can't fathom. The Lord continues to praise the young man and welcomes the new 4 heavenly kings. Manda doesn't object as the power transfer ritual begins. Uchimura receives the high. This ring symbolizes status here, allowing him the freedom to pursue his desires without interference. The Demon King trusts him deeply, filling men with joy as it's her first real recognition from above. Her colleague playfully asks to hold hands as a gesture of affection, then shyly blushes, leaving him utterly confused by the custom. From now on, they'll build a powerful demon clan together, just as the Demon King desires. A few days later, Uchimura has grown accustomed to life in this other world, with differences everywhere, yet he has his own office. After learning more, he realizes the 4 heavenly kings rank just below the Demon King. The hierarchy here is perfectly structured. Though a bit uneasy, he's honored by. The Lord values him so highly, he thinks he must repay that trust at all costs. Just as he rallies his spirits, he's startled by a swarm of imps. The young man then wants to greet the other heavenly kings first, starting with Exfit's room, a tall, beautiful woman. After he introduces himself as the new official, she pretends to be someone else, lying that her master will. Absent for so long, so from now on, men doesn't need to come anymore, outright dismissed. He doesn't give up, thinking in business, failure is the mother of success, so there's no need to worry. Amand rushes over, calling her colleague, saying the Demon King has a new task today. Knowing he's assigned another mission, Uchimura joyfully heads over. This time, it's about negotiating. The Demon King's army is a rising force, not an ancient one, so to stand against other powers, cooperation from all races in the region is essential. Among the demi-humans, the orcs hold great influence, with forces rivaling their own, and they lead the surrounding tribes. Thus, with that nod of approval, the Demon King's army will fear nothing ahead. However, the orc tribe holds vast forces, making them a significant threat. If we form an alliance, all is well, but enmity would bring endless trouble. As the Demon King knows from Uchimura's world, this is like negotiating a merger with a rival company, considering the scale and challenges involved. Of this mission, so until now he hasn't found the right person. But now, someone who understands everything is here, so he's asking men to handle it, firmly assuring that he can gain even more mental strength. Men agrees at once. Her friend also volunteers to escort him, knowing a human in demon territory could face deadly dangers. In reality, she really wants to tag along to learn more and, deep down, because she's falling for him, she can't let him face dangers alone. As fellow 4 heavenly kings, they'll strive together. That reminds him he wants to meet the remaining heavenly king, the Earth Guardian Genome. According to the files, she oversees the demi-human legions, and the Orc tribe falls under her command, so he should ask her. It's only logical that Amand has no liking for her, so she used the excuse of preparing the carriage to head elsewhere. Men sees this as a good move, saving precious time. The girl puts on a pouting face, urging him to ask quickly. Right now, the demi-human forces are being trained with great discipline, leaving them in utter awe of Genome's brilliant command skills. After the session, she offers heartfelt recognition, while praising the soldiers, boosting their morale to soaring heights. It's lucky this one is easygoing. She approaches to start a chat, saying she's come to greet and learn more about the Orc tribe. Hearing this, she realizes the main negotiators are the demons and offers advice. Their chief is formidable in both strength and his cleverness and strategy are unmatched by anyone. He can verify this himself once they arrive. More importantly, it's best to leave right away. The dragon girl is fuming with anger. Men turns back, seeing her fierce glare, and urges them to go since everything's prepared. Genome teases with a few sharp words, driving her mad and nearly to the edge of scolding, but she can't, as this one is too clever, pinning her ears back as if ignoring everything. Uchimura, seeing them like this, is at a loss. Later, the pair arrives to meet the chieftain but is completely ignored, left waiting outside for hours, frustrating Manda. He asks how much longer they must wait, but the guards insist on holding firm until the leader permits 7. If you're a heavenly king, don't think of stepping in. Hearing Trung Faksh's overwhelming arrogance, the dragon maiden couldn't hold back her fury. So, the young hero advised patience, urging her to wait a little longer, drawing from his past experiences where negotiating with rivals was a risky dance. Words could spark violence in a heartbeat. But she refused to listen, feeling it as an insult to the Demon King's mighty forces. If blood were to spill, they had been invited in by a subtle gesture. From his perspective, he sensed unease in this place. The dragon girl warned him not to glance around carelessly, or the Orc clan might notice, emphasizing that above all, they must not reveal any weaknesses. Their power rivals our own army, not to mention the enemies Genome warned about. Uchimura wondered what kind of foes they faced. Upon entering, the elder immediately flaunted his authority, demanding the commander stay silent until permitted, insisting everything follow his orders. As a heavenly king, she felt deeply disrespected, her anger boiling, but with this crucial mission at stake, she restrained herself, letting Uchimura handle it. Before they could respond, the old man declared, "If your side wishes to submit, bring the Demon King's head as proof." This was a grave insult to their revered lord. Amanda couldn't hold back any longer, ready to lash out, but Uchimura stopped her with a calm smile, calling the matter too significant and asking for time to think it over, promising to return later. This was his way of countering strength with softness. Yet, she couldn't bear it, her temper flaring in an instant to vent her rage, cursing the wretched old man for daring to humiliate their great king. She wanted to tear him apart, but he advised her to stay calm, warning that acting now would play right into their trap and ruin the negotiations from the start. The Orc chief had no intention of bargaining anyway, but to avoid whispers from his clan, he let them in only to shift the blame. Thankfully, Uchimura spotted it early. When asked if he was upset, of course he held the Demon King in the highest regard, yet for a greater purpose, he chose to endure the humiliation. Worst case, if the Orcs ally with other forces against them, it would be disastrous. Since today's talks failed, it's best to retreat for now. Hearing this, she apologized for her short-sightedness, and he didn't blame her. In fact, he was grateful, for if she hadn't raged on his behalf, he might have lost his cool at those words. Suddenly, the girl from earlier approached, introducing herself. As the chief's daughter, named Ollie, Amanda reacted, but Uchimura asked what she wanted from him. Surprisingly, she asked for help in overthrowing the throne, leaving them both confused. Thus, she led them to the castle's food storage, now barren due to their financial struggles. A dire situation Uchimura had noticed upon arrival. The soldiers outside wore patched armor, and the castle felt dim and lifeless, like a great company on the brink of collapse. The cause? One person controlling everything, and when it falls, there's no recovery. Ollie confirmed his words, insisting that saving this place requires the Demon King's army, but her stubborn father won't listen. He's ill and can't lead as before, putting on a strong front despite his age. If he passes, chaos will ensue. To prevent that, Ollie proposed an alliance. Uchimura understood but advised caution, urging her not to share this with anyone to avoid being exploited, especially as the chief's daughter. She must be careful. She praised him as a good person and confessed her trust in his eyes, which is why she brought him here. Then, she took his hand, pleading for him to marry her. If he became the new chief, all problems would vanish. He was shocked, and Amanda seethed with jealousy. Uchimura called it too sudden, but Ollie pressed on, seeing it as the perfect solution. Before he knew it, he was pinned down, the night turning intimate as she leaned in for a kiss, only for Amanda to intervene. She calmly requested time to discuss, and the next day, Uchimura grappled with the chaos. The chief refused talks, and his daughter pursued an unthinkable path. He retreated into his inner world to find a solution, back to his familiar diner as before. There, the owner argued with Amanda about whether lions or chimpanzees were stronger, each with their own views. For the lion, pride stood immense, setting it apart from other beasts, a realization that sparked Uchimura's breakthrough. He called her over, excited he'd devised a negotiation strategy. Amanda was thrilled and rushed to him, expecting a meeting with the old chief, but he said they'd go elsewhere, promising to explain along the way. A week later, the chief summoned them, frustrated, asking why other clans got support while they didn't. It turned out Uchimura had rallied nearby clans to their side with Ollie's help, as all were in dire need, making negotiations smooth. This was his Earth-inspired tactic: win over smaller companies first, and the big ones, full of pride, would follow. The first step succeeded, and Uchimura added that joining the Demon King's army would secure their lives, sensing the chief's emotions unraveling. He called Ollie in to mediate, uniting the clans under the Demon King. She felt sorrow seeing her father like this, prioritizing the people's future in this changing world. He wasn't as strong as before, a legend now faded. Uchimura suggested alliance over submission, letting the chief keep his pride as the lion-hearted leader. The chief needed time to think, masking his vulnerability, and the matter resolved beautifully, bringing joy to all. Witnessing his daughter's wisdom, the father felt content. Days later, Amanda reported the other side accepted the deal, but Uchimura now faced a disaster. The Demon King allowed foreign officials to recruit, yet he didn't know whom to choose. She suggested picking anyone, and he joked about loving to work with someone like her, making her blush like a confession. As Ollie approached to greet, proving the Orcs' goodwill, Uchimura invited her to his department. She agreed, admiring him, and grateful since her father had handed power to the talented. Soon, changes loomed, leaving Amanda fuming, refusing to shake hands, calling them rivals. Uchimura soothed her, and work flowed smoothly with the new hire, negotiations succeeding thanks to Ollie's smart policies and his support. She mentioned the Orc Demon King Alliance rewards, with the biggest contributor honored. Uchimura wasn't eager, never expecting rewards before, but the anticipation felt thrilling. Amanda arrived with her usual porridge, a staple now due to poor harvests and shared resources. She was used to it, but Uchimura craved meat after a week without. The porridge used outskirts grains, nutritious yet meatless, leaving him longing. A colleague suggested hunting, common here, targeting dangerous beasts. Plus, reports of rampaging monsters meant the Demon King's army must intervene before more harm. 5 had already fallen. In this forest, the strong devour the weak. The wild boar clan should fight back, but they're weak while the beast is formidable. Oh, she's found that special mushroom rumored to lure beasts straight to it. It's a precious food source in this land, so just wait, and the monsters will surely come. No sooner had she spoken than a massive wild boar appeared right there. At a glance, it's clearly the creature they're seeking. Fierce by nature, driven by hunger, it could devour anything in sight. Amanda calls to her friend to find cover and leave the rest to her. Without a word, she leaps high, delivering a flying kick to the beast's head. That hit is powerful, but the creature shakes it off. This boar only moves on 2 dimensions, so striking from above is a smart move. Enraged, it hurls rocks with its tusks toward them. In terms of strength, this boar is a disaster, capable of destroying everything in its path. Even struck by one of the 4 heavenly kings, it refuses to yield. Uchimura feels puzzled. Why didn't she bring a weapon if she knew a fight was coming? Hand-to-hand combat with a beast larger than an elephant is just foolish. It's reckless, but she's dealing real damage. Still, no blow can finish it off. Normally, Amanda is at a disadvantage. The boar is not only aggressive, but armed with deadly tusks that could leave scars for life. Uchimura knows she's strong, but he feels uneasy. It seems like this won't end well. She realizes this approach won't work, so she gets serious. Amanda can enhance her own body. It's not that she didn't bring a weapon, this is her fighting style. The spell takes time to wear off, so she uses it sparingly. She doesn't even dodge as the beast charges with all its might. With one hand, she blocks it and lifts it into the air to avoid ruining the meat. She snaps the beast's body, leaving Uchimura in awe. So this is the power of a demon combined with magic. After witnessing this, he suddenly loses his appetite for the meat. The pair takes the wild boar to the village, and the people are deeply grateful, knowing it would have harmed many more otherwise. A man seizes the moment with the meat and calls everyone for a feast. The village chief senses something afferent, these folks demons too, yet they still dare to eat. It's bold. The pair gets the best cuts, sparking Uchimura's curiosity about a man's cooking skills. She boasts as one of the 4 heavenly kings, claiming she can do anything. She offers to cook for him, promising it'll be unforgettable. Uchimura is excited, expecting an elaborate meal, but she uses a spellbomb and turns the prime pork into charcoal. He stands there stunned, wondering if this black mess is even edible. She laughs and insists he try it. Though reluctant, he tastes it, and it's truly memorable for all the wrong reasons. He vows never to try it again. It's revolting, like his mouth is poisoned. Amand calls him cruel for criticizing her cooking, especially since she made it. Uchimura is hit with a culture shock from this other world. Fine, he'll cook himself. The village is poor, with just one shared kitchen, and salt is a rare luxury. He understands and asks for just a pinch, promising to make a delicious meal for everyone. Soon, the roasted boar and mushroom stew are ready. Simple, yet incredible. The flavors are heavenly. Amand takes a bite and feels like she's in paradise. The others praise it endlessly. They've roasted like this before, but never with such taste. Uchimura shares the secret. Soak the meat long enough to remove the blood, and cook on low heat to avoid burning while letting the fat enhance the flavor. He teaches more recipes, bringing joy to all. Amand feels slighted as a 4 heavenly king. Teaching cooking feels like self-humiliation. But Uchimura sees deeper. By observing how people eat, you can gauge a civilization's wealth. The Demon King's army is growing and needs so much more. His work is normal. If they ate meat daily, they'd innovate, but poverty limits them. Though reluctant to admit it, Uchimura is right. Compared to other powers, this place is insignificant. Everyone struggles for food, so the 4 heavenly kings must strive harder to change it. The pair feels inspired, praising Uchimura's insight. After the meal, they head home. Amand has a light spell to keep beasts at bay. Demons like her wield the wisdom of all things, so they can use such magic, but subhumans can't. That's why the Demon King's forces focus on combat training. Uchimura asks about X-Fish. What kind is she? Amand isn't sure, but if she uses magic, she's likely a demon like them. As fellow 4 heavenly kings, X-Fish is arrogant, never attending meetings, and just speaking from afar. The pair chats as they walk, and Uchimura notes how inconvenient magic can be, recalling the boar fight where Amand was disadvantaged without a weapon. Her transformations take time, he points out. He advises her to carry weapons next time, and the same for cooking. Don't rely on spells. Even her clothes could use more protection. These words touch her pride, making her furious. She admits he might be right, but for her, it's an insult. As a result, he suggests going back alone or returning to the boar village for escort. She's angry, feeling betrayed after trusting him. She claims human worldviews don't apply to demons like them, and because of this, the next day, the Demon King summons them to sort it out. Uchimura, saddened, resigns before causing more rift. He urges his subordinate to stay calm. After hearing about last night, the Lord orders Uchimura to clear the misunderstanding with Amand. It's not just words, it involves deeper issues, a first lesson for him. Uchimura doesn't understand why she's so upset. He thought demons were scholarly and subhumans wild, but it's the opposite. Demons love showing off their bodies, while subhumans read books. It's mind-blowing. From this, he deduces why she reacted that way. After reading, he learns that for demons, strength means beauty, and training boosts magic power. That's why they dress boldly to prove their might. Last night, suggesting she cover up felt like calling her weak. It's a cultural shock the Demon King wanted him to see. He silently thanks the Lord and rushes to fix things before it worsens. Meanwhile, Amand is sad, fearing he hates her. She runs to a friend for advice and shares how Uchimura criticized her body. The friend is confused but explains it might be a misunderstanding. Humans like him might not like revealing clothes, perhaps seeing them as improper. Amand feels mortified, thinking he views her as seductive. The friend assures it's likely just a clash of worlds, not judgment. The friend suggests their bond will hold, based on Uchimura's advice about facing failures calmly. On his side, Uchimura reflects and decides to apologize. They find each other, rushing like long-lost lovers, both pouring out their hearts. He praises Amand's beauty, and she clarifies she's not seductive, just wanted his approval. They stare, confused, but he admits his ignorance and foolish advice. After learning about demons, she forgives him, calling him sincerely foolish. She apologizes for imposing her views and abandoning him in the forest. He admits it was terrifying, but recognizing errors strengthens their bond. Uchimura thinks they'll be a great team, like a confession, making her blush. The next morning, The reward ceremony honors tribal leaders. Thanks to Uchimura, they've united, expanding the Demon King's forces. The Lord gives him a rare magic crystal, but he shares credit with Amand, passing it to her, only to get scolded again. It's baffling how he could admit his mistakes without truly knowing her, yet he boldly gave foolish advice. After Uchimura delved deeper into her demon heritage, she forgave him, seeing his sincerity as endearingly naive. In turn, she bowed in apology for imposing her unrefined thoughts on him. He couldn't hold back his emotions and left her in the forest, but Uchimura admits that was heart-pounding scary. Luckily, nothing bad happened. Realizing their mutual errors only strengthened their bond, making their feelings deeper. Uchimura thinks they'll become a perfect pair ahead, sounding like a confession that leaves her blushing bright red the next morning at the ceremony. The award ceremony honors the leaders of various tribes. Thanks to Uchimura, they've united, expanding the Demon King's army to new heights. The Lord grants him the rare magic stone, but he humbly refuses full credit, sharing it with a man's enthusiastic help, so he gifts it to her only to get scolded in the end. He's confused about getting yelled at despite his sincerity. Turns out, in this world, proposals happen that way. She's thrilled, but with so many people around, she plays hard to get, asking him to find a quiet spot and start over. Meanwhile, Xfit sees Uchimura's charm and offers praise. A few days later, he's suddenly summoned by the Demon King. He's worried, thinking he's messed up, so he bows and pleads, saying he's not worthy as a four-heavenly king yet, begging for another chance. The Demon King points out his flaw, underestimating himself. This call is just to praise him, not fire him, leaving Uchimura admiring the Lord even more. The discussion turns serious. The Demon King asks Uchimura's thoughts on relations between demons and subhumans. After his studies, he's most impressed by their differences. Demons excel in magic, while subhumans do not. The king wants all races to master magic soon, so Uchimura must find a way to level the field. Uchimura realizes he can't use magic either, being from another world, so his expertise is zero. The Lord gives him pure magic stone, similar to a man's reward but unshaped, allowing for endless possibilities. Experts will help. It's no one but the stern four-heavenly king, the storm wizard Xfit. Uchimura gets right to work. His wife is thrilled seeing him confidently deal with the Demon King. That keepsake is always with her, stirring her youthful heart with joy. Back in his room, he studies the magic stonites, a crystal, forged by demons through refined magic energy. Amand chimes in, amazed at his overtime work without fatigue. He asks her about the magic stone. She doesn't know much, but confirms subhumans can use it for spells like demons, though skill is needed. Draw magic alone isn't enough. So, he turns to Xfit for help. At the door, her assistant appears but pretends not to know him. He's shocked, but it's all an act. She knows he's there by the Demon King's order. He cleverly insists on talking to the assistant herself. Xfit finally agrees, letting him in. Outside, his wife is jealous and furious, thinking he's flirting. Inside, Xfit keeps up the pretense, but he calls her out with 3 solid reasons: her disguise glasses, no one named Belinda in the army, and the king's warning about her evasiveness. She admits it, asked why the disguise and voice change. Xfit says it's to avoid more work. When he mentions creating magic tools, she refuses, even if it's the king's order, claiming it's already done. She shows him her creation as proof. What he sees is a core made from magic-absorbing minerals, enhanced with magic stones for various spells. It's powerful but costly and labor-intensive, her years of research, leaving Uchimura excited but stunned by the price. Producing it in bulk would cost 10 million each. Shocking him, fruit here sells for just 50. The army might starve funding it. Xfit explains magic stones are rare and require premium materials, so it's inherently expensive. Uchimura's task is to make magic accessible cheaply for all. Challenged, he suggests simplifying, use just one spell type. Xfit catches on, it could cut costs dramatically. With magic stones on hand, they dive into experimentation. Her passion ignites, she agrees instantly. A secret room appears, but she insists he stays all night to help. Before he can protest, he's pulled in, leaving his wife waiting outside, frustrated. A man tries banging on the door, but Xfit's spells block her. As night deepens, she wonders what they're up to. By morning, Uchimura is exhausted, but their work is done on a new device called Rose Marine. It's cheap, using basic magic stones for one spell, perfect for mass production, but they need to test it, so Uchimura becomes the guinea pig, begging for rest first. He drags himself out, only to get ambushed by Amand, knocking him out. She thinks they've been wrestling all night. Xfit appears, and chaos ensues with urgent news of mutant demon birds attacking villages. Amand leads the defense as the strongest. Uchimura sees this as a chance to test Rose Marine, so Xfit urges him along. Reluctantly, they head to the fields where the birds will strike. The open plains are ideal, He warns nearby kids to stay back. ISEKAI'D activates fire for the device. He asks about safety. She casually says, "Worst case, lose an arm." Terrified, he proceeds. It roars to life. By channeling his energy through the stone, he creates a fireball. Success. As birds attack, he hurls it, felling the low-level beasts. But the device overloads. The man she cares for lies in a heap, as if they wrestled all night, so she rouses Storm Mage and heads out in disguise, telling her friend to keep quiet. Before they can chat about the beauty nearby, Oli and Lilim rush in with urgent news. A massive flock of demon birds has appeared, threatening the land. Mutated birds are rampaging villages. Massive, ferocious creatures like twisted ostriches. The Demon King's orders: destroy and drive them out to protect the realm. Manda, our hero with unmatched strength, leads the charge, but he's pulled away, leaving Uchimura's matters on hold. Hearing this, Men snaps awake. It's the perfect chance to test their magical device. You urge him to hurry along, as the foreign official senses a dark storm brewing and can't refuse the call. Soon, the couple arrives at the vast field where twisted demon birds will launch their assault. Endless plains stretch out with no barriers in sight, a perfect stage for chaos. Nearby, Uchimura spots some kids and quickly warns them to stay back, while his colleagues begin to debate. He equips the fire magic device, and as he takes it, he asks if she's checked its safety. She casually reassures him, worst case, just lose an arm. It's a bold gamble, but Uchimura masks his fear and proceeds, hoping for the best. At first it roars to life with a thunderous sound, drawing magic from his blood through sheer will. Magic flows through the core stone, channeling power down his arm as ISEKAI'D guides Uchimura step by step. With practice, he summons a blazing fireball, a solid first win. Just then, the demon birds arrive, and she urges an attack, leaving him to improvise. He hurls the sphere at them. It's simple, but enough to take down low-level beasts. The simple spell works wonders against minor beasts, but suddenly, the device loses its magic. Luckily, she's there to summon a protective wind, helping Uchimura regain his focus. He activates it again, and the blast sends the demon birds fleeing in terror. Showing it to his colleague, he realizes it's overloaded and useless. Now blame the cheap materials. They used cheap stones for the experiment, and it failed, leaving the pair disheartened. That night, in the affected village, they share their sorrows as young girls bring roasted bird meat to Uchimura. Witnessing the kids' joy despite their struggles, she feels a warm glow, pitying the non-combatant subhumans who face such a harsh life. Their greatest gift is their unbreakable smiles amid the hardship. Storm Maiden shares her story. From a wealthy elf clan, she fled for mysterious reasons. On her journey, many subhumans saved her. They were fragile, magicless souls. Driven to help, she created these devices. Time has passed, but her resolve burns brighter than ever. Overwhelmed by endless tasks, she nearly forgets her original dream, but now ISEKAI'D is determined this mission must succeed. The demon bird swarm will return, so they must strike back without draining resources. Lost in thought, Uchimura retreats to his favorite eatery, where inspiration always sparks like a hidden flame. Thanks to hints from those around him and the shop owner, Uchimura asks his friend to make 10 more devices just like the morning ones, no improvements needed. She's puzzled but agrees, drawn in by his confident smile. By dawn, they're ready, but not for casting spells, just to create a loud startup sound. This clever twist makes the beasts uneasy, turning the tide without wasting a drop of magic. This steady noise torments the beasts, filling them with unease until they scatter. It's the same tool but with a brilliant new twist, more effective than before and without draining the magic stones. Their success exceeds expectations, so the couple reports back to the Demon King, ready to share this innovation far and wide. They'll spread this invention to allied tribes to drive away beasts at a low cost. The Demon King is stunned by Men's ingenuity. The partnership between ISEKAI'D and Uchimura shines brightly, earning praise. Outside, they exchange grateful words with colleagues, especially her, for breaking through the research deadlock. Now in debt, she offers to help him anytime she's free. If he needs anything, just say the word, she'll assist. Plus, she gifts him an improved spell-firing device that can launch up to 30 fireballs in a row, not just 10. Uchimura heads to his room for rest after 2 sleepless nights, but his wife bursts in, scolding him for not mentioning his research or asking for fees earlier. But since he's proposed, he can't chase other women. Seeing him on the ground, she thinks the storm has caused trouble and wants to confront it. A few days later, Uchimura slips back into deep thoughts at his favorite eatery. Today, 2 special guests stir things up. The red-haired girl demands the other remove her hat. This bold remark makes Men realize he must shed his own rigid work stance. He's always followed the Demon King's orders, fixing immediate issues, but true growth means spotting flaws himself and fixing them. Refreshed, he sends the dragon girl to survey the market at the bustling square. Here, stalls overflow with goods, and Amanda notes it's the liveliest spot around. She dressed up, thinking it was a date, and men compliments her beauty, making her blush. Thankfully, Ollie advised her wardrobe left to herself, she'd have no idea. A date is like a battle, so she prepared thoroughly, even considered something bold, but Ollie vetoed it, saying Uchimura's human, not into that. As she silently thanks her friend for the smooth outing, Men calls it a solid survey. Her face drops when she realizes it's all work, not romance. Amanda flares up but holds back, asking about his plans. It's just gathering info by listening and observing to boost the Demon King's forces. He says they're free today, so let's wander first. Amanda feels mixed, excited for playtime, sad it's not a real date. Passing a craft stall, the owner greets them, recognizing Men as the Demon King's envoy. Turns out, merchants gossip about the new 4 heavenly kings being human. Men plans to use this for knowledge. The fiery war god Amanda is well known, spotted instantly. The seller offers a couple's cup, and Uchimura agrees, but in exchange for some questions. Amanda worries about the gift, unaware it's his strategy without buying, how to extract info. He imagines them sharing wine from it, but Uchimura pulls her away with fresh intel. Amanda sulks as they explore more, then sit to recap. After allying with 2 major tribes, cultural exchanges, and manpower flow, explaining the surge in new stalls. His main worry is food's sudden population growth strains supplies, especially with rice prices soaring, hitting people hard. Amanda checks stores earlier. Sellers can't drop prices without losing profit, pointing to agency issues. Big players buy rice cheap from farmers and jack up prices for small shops, forcing hikes. Amanda wants to confront them, but he's cautious it's just a guess. They need more info. Above agencies, a trade group lurks. Rash moves could spark national chaos. Amanda calms down. From Men's view, this world has layers beyond demons and humans, full of challenges. He decides to tackle them one by one. For now, the market survey ends here. Uchimura asks if she wants to go anywhere else. They have time. She blushes, hoping for a date, but then Genom appears. After their last adventure, Men and her are close, making Amanda jealous of the intruder. Genom asks where she's headed. It's the Nightflow Festival, where couples exchange gifts. As a leader, she wants to reward her warriors with small tokens to boost morale, but nothing for the fiery Amanda. Before arguments erupt, an elderly couple begs Genom for help with their shop. The 3 go check it out. They've run their Chimu bakery for years, but business is declining, especially after a notorious merchant ordered big, promising high demand due to rising rice prices. They worked all night, but he cancelled, claiming the bread only lasts a day. Struggling merchants like them face ruin. Genom asks Uchimura to handle it, knowing his negotiation and cooking skills. Uchimura sees the mess but thinks he can fix it, using their market data. Tasting the bread, it's decent like mochi from his old world. Once popular, it's fading. They need a fresh twist. The bread has a short shelf life, so they must sell 300 pieces today. His main customers were elders, but even they lost interest. Amanda is baffled how it survived this long. They plan to reinvent Chimu with new flavors. Amanda will visit rival shops for partnerships win-win. Soon, they're set, and Men launches a promo amid a fire dance crowd. It's the Nightflow Festival, full of fun. Even Amanda, on duty, gets drawn in. As she relaxes, it pulls more fans. Youth today barely know the holiday's meaning, so Uchimura weaves in a love story, tying it to Chimu. He tells of lovers who ate Chimu and wished for a future together against oppression. Their wish granted, they lived happily on the moon. Inspired, couples crave the bread. Uchimura explains it's the festival's origin, perfect under the new moon with loved ones. He learned details from Genom. It's like Valentine's back home. Now, they target youth, not just elders. The elders display colorful Chimu varieties. By enlarging portions, they sell faster. Everyone scrambles to buy. It's not just for the old, it's surprisingly delicious. Uchimura tells Amanda buyers are young because business must evolve to attract modern crowds. After the survey, he sees festivals draw youth, so they tailored Chimu to them. This could secure the elders' future and maybe make Chimu a market favorite. Men envisions it spreading, gathering intel for the Demon King's army all in one go. But he's unsure of success yet. By evening, the 300 pieces sell out. The elders are overwhelmed with gratitude to the Heavenly Kings and Genom. Amanda grumbles about Genom's role. Many buyers were her fans, boosting sales. Still, some came for Amanda, shifting views on demons. She clarifies she doesn't discriminate, just dislikes that girl. The elders gift them bread as thanks. Amanda shyly accepts, recalling the story eating it means they're a couple. They also give a couple's cup. She dreams of marriage. But Men shifts to work, earning her scolding for his obsession. That night, he reports to the Demon King about gold from the neighboring Golden Kingdom for growth and food solutions. With so many flavors like this, it could secure a steady job for the elderly couple. Who knows, this treat might become a market favorite. Men daydreams of it spreading across nations, while gathering intel for the Demon King's forces. It's like killing two birds with one stone, but he's still hesitant if it'll succeed. Will it be successful or not? By the afternoon, the original 300 cakes were cleared. The two old people did not know how to thank the heavenly kings. The couple thought this was their effort. Also had to thank Jean. Amanda Noyd asked what that girl did to make me say that he gave two of the customers who came to buy cakes. There were quite a few Asian fans. Jean was asked by that woman to support them, and she's surely spreading the word about the shop, which is why it sold out so fast. A few customers came because they saw Amanda there. Surprisingly, it changed their thoughts about demons helping subhumans. The wife says she doesn't judge by race, she just can't stand that girl. The couple then makes more batches as a gesture of gratitude. He quickly offers a few cakes as a token of thanks to the two heavenly kings. The girl acts shy. As per the legend Min shared, if a couple eats them, it means they're in love. She also gifts back a couple's cup as a memento for today's fun adventure. Amanda joyfully imagines a wedding scene, first gifting the magic stone, and now this couple's cupids like fate has sealed their bond. Are they already a couple then? Just as things get joyful, the moment breaks. Men shifts back to work, earning a scolding for being such a workaholic fool. That evening, he reports a new project to the Demon King. Today's survey revealed deep insights, especially about gold from the neighboring Golden Kingdom. To develop, we must tap into that. To expand, we must trade with such a wealthy nation, boosting our faction's strength and solving our food shortages. Uchimura asks the Demon King what to use for trade. He thinks the main goods should be magical devices that XFIT creates. It's our exclusive tech right now, so Uchimura hesitates a bit, but the Demon King quickly thinks it through, not just any trade. Not everyone can be as skilled as her and steal techniques, so don't worry. Even if they copy successfully, it's fine because what we have here is true talent. As long as people like them exist, we'll create even more wonders. Why fear theft of ideas? But the king reminds Min not to underestimate the risks. Because the King of Rage in the Golden Kingdom isn't easy to negotiate with. A few days later, after preparations, he begins his long trip abroad. Oli and Manda come to see him off and remind him to be careful in the Kingdom of Rage. They even ask if he wants company, but the young man objects, saying this peace talk is his personal mission. Using the excuse of introducing the newly appointed 4 heavenly kings, the dragon girl finally stops insisting on going. They warn that the King of Rage is young and talented, but unpredictable. If you anger him, it could cost your life. Once, a fake merchant was thrown to the crocodiles. Hearing this, Uchimura feels a chill down his spine, but must press on with the journey. Well, what else can we do now? That friend of yours chases after him like a loving wife, bidding farewell to her husband, asking if he forgot his wallet or any gifts. If you feel travel sick, remember to stop and rest. And don't accept bribes from their side, especially be cautious around places with beautiful girls. Now, he's arrived at the Kingdom of Rage, a land thriving with endless opportunities. Everything here is luxurious at first glance, with many women buying gold and jewels. The Demon King's army mainly exports grains like Zim, but with population growth, demand has skyrocketed. Instead of exporting, they're considering imports to meet needs. To replace grains, they need new goods for trade. This trip is to negotiate and secure gold for the Demon King's army. It's like the dollars of the old world, buying anything. The Kingdom of Rage is known for its vast gold reserves. For the army's future, he vows not to fail. Entering the castle, Uchimura sighs in relief after arranging the meeting. Since he contacted ahead, he's not harassed and needs a reason to request an audience, so he uses his new 4 heavenly kings title. The King of Rage approaches with an air of supremacy, adorned in gold and gems that scream opulence. Uchimura starts introducing himself but gets cut off. The king already knows everything about him, from his Demon King service to his recent appointment. Overseas officials have contributed so much to the Demon King's army, with exceptional business skills, merging races and driving reforms at home. He asks if the king thinks he's clueless about all this. This line makes men realize the King of Rage is truly formidable, knowing every detail about him. He wonders why it took so long for this meeting. Why did it take you so long to arrive? Overwhelmed by the king's threat, he immediately kneels and apologizes. Things worsen as the main goal is negotiation, where higher status means leverage. But the pressure is overwhelming. The young man wants to hear the real issue. Usually, this summons isn't just for greetings. Should I even ask? Uchimura quickly responds that he prepared gifts for His Majesty, handcrafted silver items. Instantly, the King of Rage smashes them, leaving the young man shaken. Bringing silver to the Kingdom of Gold is outright rude, like mocking them. In reality, Uchimura used this tactic to drive up the value, elevate the core product to new heights. After King Wrath took the bait, he unveiled Rose Marine, boasting it could repel fierce beasts. His rivals were stunned that something like flawed magic crystals could hold such power. Men revealed that this tool is exclusively crafted by the Demon King's forces and is currently only distributed within our borders. It's limited to domestic use, outsiders can't buy it yet. Now, this visit feels like fate, as the Golden Realm must be struggling with mining issues. Those troublesome JC golems have appeared in the mines, terrifying the workers. That's why they need to hire costly security experts, but Rose Marine offers a better solution, effective and affordable. His Majesty is intrigued by this. Men gifts him about 20 units first. If he likes them, more orders can follow. King Wrath agrees, but only if they truly work. So, Chimura must prove his words with his life. Suddenly, a massive crocodile beast is released, striking fear into him, making him tremble as he desperately activates the device to drive it away. He silently pleads for Manda's help but stays sharp enough to succeed. Yet, the beast turns its fury toward King Wrath. Men shouts in worry, urging caution, even considering using magic to aid. But this young hero strikes first, blasting the beast into ashes. This bold act leaves His Majesty impressed, sealing the deal for a massive order. The Demon King's army praises the device and calls Chimura fascinating. Though just a mortal, he speaks as an equal and showcases peak talent. In the heat of crisis, his loyalty shines through when danger threatens. Securing this big deal fills him with joy, but suddenly, he's overwhelmed by King Wrath's demands. Learning they can only supply about 200 Rose Marine units a month, the king slashes it to a week. He flexes his power, promising mountains of gold if they deliver. Back home, Chimura faces a storm of scolding from XFIT for this rush. Rose Marine is newly in mass production, and workers aren't up to speed yet. Chimura begs her to find a way. This is Fedicin Fish's path to growth. Domestic orders are already piling up, and now adding 200 more in a week seems impossible. They praise men for his skills, sealing deals effortlessly while claiming all the glory, leaving others to handle the hardship. It rings true, so Chimura stays silent. Oli adds that men act for their side's benefit. XFIT sees this mirroring old conflicts, with misunderstandings brewing between factions. If they cling to stubbornness, the organization might crumble. She wonders what Chimura will do next. But she's called out they've prioritized shipments to beast-plagued areas, and domestic stock is stable. XFIT is startled. She didn't realize this entrepreneur knew the factory's situation so well. Chimura spots her usual laziness and forces her to agree to deliver the 200 units. Just as they sought that, King Wrath's people demand an extra 100 units. The device's effectiveness is undeniable. Now, work piles up endlessly, no time for rest. Olay admires Chimura's prowess. In less than a week, they've landed orders for 300 units, proving King Wrath's vast financial might. Each unit costs around 500,000, so 300 units total 150 million, an enormous sum. Men explains his strategy, the anchoring effect. When decisions are uncertain, people latch onto the first info as a standard. So, he started with high-value items to set the bar for Rose Marine's worth. King Wrath hooked onto that anchor, driving up the price. The campaign succeeded brilliantly, though it was a bit risky. Oli is shocked at such a bold sales tactic. Right then, more orders come in for another 100 units, directly impacting XFIT's workload. Chimura endures another round of scolding, but they push on. XFIT hires 10 more workers and maximizes production. The next day, the first 200 units ship successfully, boosting everyone's morale to finish the rest swiftly. The following 200 are done too, just one more delivery. Chimura rejoices, knowing these last a month, ensuring King Wrath will reorder and securing a steady demand. Men treats himself to his favorite spot, elated by the success but forgets that in business disasters can strike any time. Olay returns with bad news, their order is fully cancelled. After talking to the other side, it turns out King Wrath found a cheaper supplier with similar products at half the price, so he's switching. Chimura is in disbelief. How could fakes appear so quickly? It's absurd. Now, inventory piles up while the factory just ordered more magic crystals. This loss ripples out, stalling the Demon King's army trades and forcing Genome to use old gear for training. Soldiers blame the new Four Heavenly King for errors, cutting their budget. XFIT defends him, saying everyone's struggling, not just the non-humans. Outside, rumors spread wildly, and shortages loom as payments shift to bartering with ZM currency. Chimura faces a barrage of challenges, shocked and apologizing to all affected. The pressure mounts, their finances will plummet, development halts, and troops lose spirit. He rushes to the Demon King to take full responsibility. The Lord wants to hear why men sees this as his fault. He admits underestimating King Wrath's whims. Accepting such a large order without safeguards led to this disaster. They should have planned for risks, resulting in heavy losses for the Demon King's forces and shutting doors to vital gold expansion. So, he begs for punishment. The king reminds him no one is perfect. Failures happen, but what matters is rising from them. Will he ignore his mistakes or learn from them? The Demon King urges him not to feel ashamed but to rebuild from this costly lesson. Chimura agrees and prepares to apologize to those involved. Genome is waiting, but she's already forgiven him and leaves immediately. Next is ISEKAI'D. She says it's been ages since she read that magic tome thanks to him, so no need for apologies, just go. He's relieved but suddenly gets dragged away, thinking revenge for the damages. Instead, his wife surprises him with a barbecue to ease his stress. Aman senses his inner turmoil and creates this moment to lift his spirits. He's caught off guard, fear overwhelming him at first, pushing away negative thoughts. Then, her kind words soothe him, saying she followed his advice. It's sweet, though not quite her style, and he realizes she's cheering him on. Chimura thanks her deeply. Seizing the moment, he moves closer, but Ole interrupts with fruits to lighten the mood. She realizes she's intruded, and luckily Amand invites her to join. They enjoy the feast until the two women drift off to sleep. Men silently grateful, no one adds to his burden. What's next is to fix this failure. The scene shifts to King Roth dealing with merchant Bulgarian. He's copied ISEKAI'D's design but sells it cheaper. The king asks how he does it so well. It's a business secret. Back to Chimura, he's devising a recurrence prevention plan, investigating the problem's root and eliminating it to avoid repeats. How can a similar product hit the market at half price so fast? It's unnatural. Chimura trusts the Demon King's word that their tech is superior. He heads to his usual eatery to unravel this. ISEKAI'D appears, playing a tune that clarifies everything. It's not copying, it's illegal smuggling. Some village must be selling the beast-repelling products, but areas we distributed to are suffering attacks who'd sell and risk that. Suddenly, his dragon wife rushes in. The rosemarine stones he's distributed have lost all power, despite recent use. Chimura thinks it's a defect and decides to recall everything, heading to the affected village to assess. Without the device overnight, beasts attacked the Lanloy clan, who trusted the Demon King's protection. This village even had Chimura install the device himself. More damage could devastate them financially. He digs up the device and realizes it's sabotaged. Checking others, it's the same. Men figures out it's theft, not flaws. Back home, he discusses with the two women, planning countermeasures. If villagers were selling illegally, they'd keep some for protection, but none are left. It's clearly criminal activity supplying King Wrath. To combat the theft, men lists villages that filed complaints and heads to a nearby one, knowing the thieves will strike. Manda is clueless but follows along, thinking it's a romantic outing until his dragon companion joins, expecting something more. As the thieves pass, they're caught red-handed stealing devices. This can't stand. No wonder they sell to King Wrath at half price, they're just thieves fencing stolen goods. Chimura demands who ordered it, but they target his wife instead. One attacks, getting kicked hard, another charges and gets punched away, the rest flee to save themselves. He doesn't pursue, having confirmed their crimes. Days later, merchant Bulgarian still supplies King Wrath as usual. His delivery speed is impressive, mimicking the Demon King's key product perfectly. It's cheeky, but King Wrath supports it. Bulgarian takes the praise humbly, viewing on-time deliveries as his duty. He'll use any means to succeed. He's earned nicknames like the Prophet and Merchant of Death for his ruthless ways. Wealth comes from buying low and selling high. That's business essence. This smart operator manipulates markets, buying in bulk before trends hit, leaving others with scraps. It's why he's called a prophet. Hearing of the Demon King's contact with King Wrath, he smelled opportunity. Though a small nation, the Demon King is formidable, and business beckons. But their product shocked him, no buying or stealing rights. The business guild has arrived, but their products left him in utter shock. He couldn't buy or steal the copyrights. This treasure meets the nation's needs, gold, so easy to transport and highly valuable. If buying low and selling high isn't possible, then just seize the domestic sources quickly. That's how he amassed a fortune, like today with those golden carriages. As he left the Wrath Kingdom, suddenly, Bulgarian was intercepted by the king's order. He was seized and dragged straight to meet him. The king, brimming with curiosity, demands to know what's going on. "Oh, great king." Then, he pulls out the new device that was brought and smashes it effortlessly, for it's just faulty junk. This shrewd one hasn't yet realized he's been outmaneuvered by Chimura. They set a trap for the furious King of Wrath, who roars in anger, demanding to know what this means. What a cunning merchant, trying to deceive the entire nation. In his mind, he still can't grasp why, for it's clearly a product consuming resources while in use, yet it's failing. So, he steps in to explain to him the reason the device isn't working. This is the renowned foreign official of the Demon King, But Garyon, he's greatly feared, as he's believed to be incredibly powerful, able to overpower fierce warriors and make them submit. The Minotaur chief and the Orc tribe are perfect examples. I don't know where this rumor came from, but it's all for the best. He once detailed the full story of the Rosemarine product, which helped drive away. It's the renowned foreign official of the Demon King. But Garyon is intimidated, thinking him powerful for taming brutal foes like the Minotaur and Orc chiefs. Rumors spread, and it's to their advantage. Chimura recounts the Rosemarine's exclusive beast-repelling tech. To protect it and the people's safety, he's ending the thefts by setting a trap. He reveals a fake version looks identical to Rosemarine but does nothing. Even the king couldn't tell. After the incident, he had Xfit make counterfeits overnight for thief-prone areas. It's skilled work, and she agreed for her favorite cake. He didn't catch them earlier to let them continue, leading them into his and the Demon King's snare. This ensures villagers stay safe and questions, but Garyon on supplying faulty goods to the king, cornered eas no escape. He desperately flatters the king with honeyed words, claiming his products just happen to resemble the Demon King's army items by coincidence. In his past, he's endured so much humiliation and learned a harsh lesson. No matter how deep the hell you fall into, if you survive, you can rebuild your life. He promises to meet every demand from the king to atone. In exchange, he offers his entire fortune to this land, hoping to survive and return. But King Wrath isn't one to be trifled with. He immediately sentences him to death and strikes without delay. A massive crocodile is summoned to devour him on the spot. The merchant panics, begs for his life, terrified of dying when he still has so much left to do. Especially with his children waiting for him to come back. Suddenly, Uchimura steps in to save him. King Wrath demands to know why he's daring to interfere with the royal judgment. After all, Uchimura had already fulfilled his wish to expose the merchant's true face, yet now he betrays that by intervening it's a messy twist, like meddling in another nation's affairs. This feels like walking all over the king's authority. But Uchimura stays calm, insisting it's the right thing to do. The young hero summons two mighty dragons, their power crackling in the air, yet he gives him a chance to speak. King Wrath suspects Uchimura is ready to die for this, but Bert Garyon claims he's acting because the king declared that without him, the kingdom would fall. For the sake of the country and the king, he couldn't stand by. Though guilty, he pleads his case. The young hero doubts that the Golden Kingdom could collapse over one merchant. Uchimura explains about the essential orange powder used in gold moninga, special additive that easily separates gold from ore, making the process efficient. Without it, traditional methods are slow and wasteful. Only Bert Garyon trades this powder, imported from a distant land called Toki. But due to the ongoing war, exports are restricted, yet as a seasoned merchant, he gets special permission. Uchimura learned this while investigating domestic gold production. On top of that, Bert Garyon gathers and distributes food to war-torn areas. His nickname, the Merchant of Death, comes from boldly trading on the front lines. The land of Toki appreciates this, so they entrust him with their exports. Killing someone so vital would be a huge loss to the kingdom. King Wrath calmly asks why Uchimura risks his life for a stranger unrelated to the Demon King's army, in fact, someone who's been a thorn in their side. Uchimura innocently replies that when you see someone in trouble, you help if you can. It's that simple, no need to weigh the pros and cons. His words leave the two speechless, at a loss for words. King Wrath bursts into laughter, finding him utterly fascinating, and thanks to that, they both escape the danger. Bert Garyon is saved and deeply grateful, in awe of Uchimura's incredible talent. Who else could make a king laugh like that? But now, Uchimura's real fear begins to set in. He asks Bert Garyon to escort him out, and the merchant's children rush over in worry. It turns out Uchimura had already investigated their background. Bert Garyon rose from humble beginnings through sheer effort, even adopting orphans from war zones. Truly admirable. That's why Uchimura stepped up to help fully, even under King Wrath's intense pressure. Once everything is clear, the whole family is overwhelmingly thankful. Afterward, Uchimura asks the merchant to distribute rosemine across the lands. A win-win deal. His reputation will make sales smoother, and as for the past deceptions, they're forgiven and forgotten. Bert Garyon resolves to change his ways for safer business and promises to make this venture a resounding success. Plus, he shares intel about suspicious merchant guild activities in the Demon King's territory, so Uchimura should stay on guard moving forward.